Broadcast. A broadcast is a television or radio show.
We watched the broadcast of the local news on TV.
Bulletin. A bulletin is a news report that talks about very recent and important events.
There was a live bulletin reporting on the economy of the city.
Bump. A bump is a small raised area on a surface.
The monkey got a bump on his head because he was hit by a rock.
Chop. To chop something means to cut it into pieces with a tool.
Mom chopped some vegetables to put into the stew.
Closet. A closet is a small room used to store things.
Marie has many clothes inside of her closet.
Console. To console someone who is sad means to make them comforted.
When my dog ran away, my dad consoled me.
District. A district is a small part of a city, county, state, or country.
I live in a residential district of Seattle, Washington.
Drawer. A drawer is a small part in furniture that is used to store things.
I put my clothes into the empty drawers.
Endure. To endure something tough means to do or go through it.
She had to endure her husband shouting all day long.
Execute. To execute someone means to kill them as a legal punishment.
Some people are executed for serious crimes.
Grasp. To grasp something means to hold it.
He grasped the bag of money tightly.
Rear. When something is in the rear of something, it is in the back.
The man loaded the rear of his truck with boxes.
Senator. A senator is someone who makes laws for a state.
The young senator promised to make laws that would help the people.
Skull. A skull is the hard part of your head. Your brain is inside of it.
The brain is protected by the skull.
Stir. To stir something means to mix it using something small, like a spoon.
Mom stirred the batter until it was smooth.
Tap. To tap something is to hit it lightly.
He tapped the keys of the keyboard to write a short word.
Tremendous. When something is tremendous, it is very large.
The Earth's oceans are filled with a tremendous amount of water.
Underneath. When something is underneath something else, it is below or lower than it.
The roots of a tree are located underneath the ground.
Worm. A worm is a small animal with a long, thin body.
Worms are often used to help catch fish.
Abandon. To abandon something is to leave it forever or for a long time.
The old room had been abandoned years before.
Ambitious. If someone is ambitious, they want to be rich or successful.
Kendra had to be ambitious to get into medical school.
Bark. When a dog barks, it makes a short, loud noise.
The dog barked loudly and frighteningly.
Bay. A bay is an area near the ocean where the land goes inward.
The Golden Gate Bridge crosses San Francisco Bay.
Brilliant. If someone is brilliant, they are very smart.
My younger sister is brilliant for someone her age.
Chin. Your chin is the hard part at the bottom of your face.
Luke pointed to the hair on his chin.
Complaint. A complaint is something you say to tell people that you don't like something.
Mom said she didn't want to hear my brother's complaints.
Deaf. When someone is deaf, they cannot hear.
Susan was born deaf.
Enthusiastic. To be enthusiastic about something is to be excited by or interested in it.
The man was enthusiastic about his job.
Expedition. An expedition is a long trip, usually to a place very far away.
They got into their spaceship to begin their expedition.
Horizon. The horizon is where the sky looks like it meets the ground.
The sun dipped below the horizon.
Loyal. To be loyal to something or someone is to agree to always help them.
The three friends are very loyal to each other.
Mayor. The mayor is the person in charge of a city.
The mayor of my hometown is quite a powerful speaker.
Mutual. If something is mutual, it is felt in the same way by two or more people.
Robert likes Sarah. The feeling is mutual.
Overweight. If someone is overweight, they are very fat.
Roger eats too much, so now he's overweight.
Refuge. A refuge is a place where you go to be safe.
When it started to rain, she found refuge in the house.
Restore. To restore something is to put it back the way it was.
Victor restored the old car.
Rub. To rub something is to push on it and move your hand back and forth.
Mom's feet were sore, so she rubbed them.
Senses. Your senses are how you see, taste, hear, feel, and smell.
It would be hard to live without your five senses.
Veterinarian. A veterinarian is a doctor that takes care of animals.
Wanda became a veterinarian because she loves dogs.
Anniversary. An anniversary is a day that celebrates something from the past.
My parents went out to eat for their wedding anniversary.
Arithmetic. Arithmetic is math.
I like to study arithmetic at school.
Ashamed. To be ashamed is to feel upset because you did something wrong or bad.
He was ashamed when he found out that I knew about his past.
Burst. To burst is to suddenly break open or apart.
The bomb burst over the city.
Carpenter. A carpenter is a person who builds things with wood.
We hired a carpenter to make a cupboard.
Coal. Coal is a hard black rock that you burn for heat.
Many power stations burn coal to produce energy.
Couch. A couch is a long, soft seat that many people can sit on.
Kim and Martin's new couch was very expensive.
Drip. When a liquid drips, just a little bit falls at a time.
I heard water dripping from the faucet.
Elegant. If something is elegant, it is very fancy and pleasing.
In Japan, women wear elegant kimonos on special occasions.
Fabric. Fabric is cloth used to make clothes, furniture, etc.
The towels were made from a soft fabric.
Highlands. The highlands are high areas of land, usually with mountains.
The man had a small home in the highlands.
Ivory. Ivory is a white, hard substance that comes from elephants.
The elephant's long ivory tusks looked very impressive.
Mill. A mill is a building where flour is made.
The farmer took his wheat to the mill to make it into flour.
Needle. A needle is a small, sharp piece of metal that you use to make or fix clothes.
I used a needle to fix the hole in my pants.
Polish. To polish something is to rub it in order to make it shiny.
Mark spent all morning polishing his shoes for the wedding.
Sew. To sew means to put pieces of cloth together using string.
I learned to sew when I was a little girl.
Shed. A shed is a small building where you store things like tools.
We have a small shed in the backyard for storage.
Thread. A thread is a thin piece of string.
I have many different colors of thread at home.
Trim. To trim something is to cut it a little bit.
I had my hair trimmed this afternoon.
Upwards. If something goes upwards, it moves vertically higher.
The kite went upwards further and further.
Ail. To ail a person or group is to cause difficulty or pain.
My brother went to the doctor to see what was ailing him.
Ally. An ally is someone who agrees to help or support you.
I was happy to find many allies who shared the same opinion as me.
Boast. To boast is to talk about how good you are.
We all became tired of listening to him boast about himself all day.
Bounce. To bounce is to move something up and away from a surface after hitting it.
Owen bounced the ball on the ground.
Bully. A bully is a person who is mean to others.
The two bullies always picked on the smaller, weaker kids.
Carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are substances in foods like bread that give you energy.
Carbohydrates like rice are a good source of energy for active people.
Crawl. To crawl is to move slowly on your hands and knees.
The baby crawled across the floor.
Defeat. To defeat someone is to beat them in a game or battle.
The champion defeated the challenger in the boxing match.
Dial. A dial is the front of a clock.
I looked at the dial to see what time it was.
Dominant. When someone or something is dominant, they are stronger than others.
The gorilla is one of the dominant animals in the jungle.
Mercy. If you show mercy, you choose not to punish or harm someone.
He asked his boss for mercy and to not fire him.
Nod. To nod is to move your head up and down.
I nodded my head as I listened to the song.
Opponent. An opponent is someone who fights against you.
On the field, our opponents were too good for us.
Rival. A rival is someone that is trying to keep you from getting what you want.
The three rivals were all competing for the same job.
Sore. When a part of your body is sore, it hurts.
After lifting the heavy box, Mona's back was sore.
Sting. To sting is to cause pain by pushing a sharp part into the skin.
The needle stung my arm and made me say ouch.
Strain. To strain is to try very hard.
Casey strained to lift the heavy box.
Torture. Torture is something that causes you physical or mental pain.
Greg thought that writing the essay was torture.
Wrestle. To wrestle is to play a game where you try to push someone to the floor.
My dad loved to wrestle when he was in high school.
Quarrel. To quarrel is to argue or fight.
Billy quarreled with his wife about buying a new house.
Absence. Absence is the state of something being away.
There is an absence of sand in the hourglass.
Aloud. If you say something aloud, you say it so that others can hear you.
My father often reads stories aloud to me and my sister.
Bald. If someone is bald, they have no hair.
My oldest brother is bald.
Blanket. A blanket is a piece of cloth that you use to keep warm or to sit upon.
I laid a blanket on the ground so that we could have a picnic.
Creep. To creep is to move quietly and slowly.
The cat slowly crept down the tree.
Divorce. Divorce is an event in which a marriage is ended.
Divorce rates have increased in the past 20 years.
Imitate. To imitate someone is to do exactly what they do.
He imitated his favorite superhero by putting on a costume.
Infant. An infant is a baby.
The infant cried all night.
Kidnap. To kidnap someone is to take them illegally.
She was terrified to find out her son was kidnapped.
Nap. A nap is a short sleep, usually during the day.
I took a short nap because I stayed up late last night.
Nowhere. You use nowhere to say that a place or thing does not exist.
Unfortunately, water was nowhere to be found.
Pat. To pat something is to hit it softly with your hand.
I patted some lotion onto my face.
Relief. Relief is a feeling you get when something bad or challenging ends.
I felt a sense of relief when I heard the good news.
Reproduce. To reproduce is to make something exactly how someone else did it.
The children tried to reproduce their house using toy blocks.
Rhyme. To rhyme is to have the same sounds at the end of a word.
Humpty Dumpty is an old rhyme that children learn in school.
Suck. To suck is to put something in your mouth and try to get flavor out of it.
The baby sucked milk from her bottle.
Urgent. If something is urgent, it is important and needs to be done now.
He had to leave now. It was urgent.
Vanish. To vanish is to go away suddenly.
All the passengers vanished from the train station.
Wagon. A wagon is a cart you use to carry heavy things.
He used his wagon to carry some of his gifts.
Wrinkle. A wrinkle is a line on a person's face that happens as they get old.
My grandfather has some wrinkles on his face.
Abnormal. If something is abnormal, it is strange or not normal.
Her idea of art is a bit too abnormal for me.